Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, my friends, my family, my treasure. We are back with Werewolf the Apocalypse, Part of the Forest. And we are going to be continuing where we left off at Chapter 3, Standoff. I hope everyone is strapped in and ready for some good storytelling. Got your hydration ready? Got your sacrifices ready? And I hope everyone has gotten the sleep they needed, or is getting ready to get that very much needed sleep. So strap in and let's read. Enjoy the story. I couldn't get back to sleep. Since I'd arrived in this accursed village, things had been getting stranger and stranger with every passing hour, and now I'd ripped a pillow in half in my sleep. Nothing about it was normal. I needed to talk it over with someone I trusted. Problem is that I didn't trust anyone. I'd met a lot of people there, but as I realized, I didn't trust anyone. They all seemed to have secrets. But that didn't mean I couldn't use them to get the answers I needed. Good morning, Rumi. The sun had just set, and the moon wasn't up yet. The forest loomed on the horizon, and the activist camp was somewhere there. I soon ran into Anya. "Oh, Maya, good to see you," she said. "We need to talk." "I'm wondering if everything's okay. You've been acting strangely," she explained with a sigh. "I've asked around, and it seems you've made some risky friendships." "They know things about my family," I answered, "and I need that information." Okay, let's see. Could use some support. She could come with me if she wanted, but I had to go alone. That one. "I know you have your own things to do," I admitted, "but if you want, you can come with me." Anya smiled. "Sure, sister," and we walked together. The camp had a different vibe than the logging site protests. There were more people there. We looked around, trying to take it all in. "They are coming and coming!" Anya laughed, excited. The people in the camp seemed quite cheerful. The smells were intriguing. I watched them for a moment. Someone was singing. Smells were intriguing. There were tents, and I could smell some bacon in the air. People were milling about, setting up camp, singing, preparing posters. It was a joint effort. I was hungry. My stomach growled. I was hungry. I looked around. I definitely needed to talk to someone about what was going on, about what I felt. I thought about Olga and her group. Olga spotted me right away. "Well, hello again," she greeted me. "I didn't expect to see you here so soon, Actually, she gave me a long, hard look. "I didn't expect to see you again at all." Tried to rise above her. I snapped at her. I joined the banter. Tried to rise above it. It made me even angrier. For a moment, I wanted to bite her head off or bark some curse words at her. I took a long breath. It didn't help. And to my surprise, she started to laugh. Her face softened. "What brings you here, kid?" she asked after a beat. Angry, confused. We'll go confused. "I'm confused," I answered. "Is it really true? I mean, Cornell told me strange stories about my past and the forest. There's nothing to be confused about." She shook her head. "It's perfectly clear that the government will destroy this unique forest if someone doesn't stop them, and you have your obligation to fulfill." She broke off and bit her lip. "What do you want to do about it?" "I want to do something," I said. "Anything. I want to feel like I'm doing something that has a meaning, that will change what happens. I feel like I could smash those harvesters with a hammer. Do you have a hammer?" If I had a family debt to pay, I couldn't be just an observer anymore. She looked at me. Her eyes were a weird color, like deep, dark honey or molasses. "I might," she said. But I need your support, because Cornell will try to push his own agenda. They all wanted to do something that night, but after a whole day's discussion, they were still divided on what to do. 3 for one option, 3 for the other. I saw no reason to back up Cornell. Oh, hooligan trophy earned. Nice. I voted for direct action, and soon we were on our way to the logging site. We had some harvesters to deface. This is so exciting, Anya whispered. I've never done anything so illegal. We were just a group of dark silhouettes running through the night. The moon was hidden behind the clouds. I wish there was more light. I walked carefully. I hid in the shadows. I was glad about that. Gracious for the shadows that were hiding us. Oh, man. I said the wrong thing. Of course, I would have preferred a new moon, a total darkness so that nobody saw us, but beggars can't be choosers. We soon reached the logging site, and I knew we were there only because I voted for direct action. I made a difference. Olga stood in the middle of the clearing, looking at the harvesters. She had a backpack on her shoulder. When she moved, I heard a metallic clatter coming from inside it. Let's get going, she said. She looked different in the dark. She seemed more angular, broader. Yeah, let's smash something, I agreed. Olga reached into her backpack, and she tossed something my way. It wasn't a hammer, but a can of spray paint. Red. I just grinned at her. I glanced over my shoulder and saw Cornell staring at me. This is a mistake. He shook his head and turned away. Cornell, we voted in favor of this plan. I challenged him. And if you're not helping, at least don't bother. He stared at me appalled. Don't listen to that angry voice in your head. It will just push you farther and farther. Olga noticed the tension between us. People know that I'm right, she said, looking Cornell straight in the eye. You should have noticed that the first time you came here. Your plan will destroy lives, he answered. Please, I said, we have work to do. The tension broke, and Cornell shook his head and turned around. Be careful and quiet, said Lisa. She also looked different. There was camo face paint on her broad cheekbones, and there are some guards nearby. I'll take care of them, and with that she left. The harvesters loomed in the night, now more than ever, reminding me of some distorted, terrible creatures from a cheap horror movie. Their black cables glistened in the moonlight, and their stench clogged the air. I shook the can. I shook the can and let the first blotch of paint. It landed on the side of the harvester, and for a moment I thought the machine shuddered, like I'd wounded it. Suddenly I tensed up. It would see me. I shook the feeling off. I felt a wave of joy. Planned to work carefully, focused on my senses. The stench was fouler here. Something must have crept underneath the harvester and died there, I thought. I gritted my teeth and started to work. But the foul smell was getting stronger and stronger, and suddenly I doubled over and started retching. Are you alright? Anya asked, concerned. It's just the smell, I tried to play it down. What smell? She looked at me dumbfounded. Eventually our work for the night was done. I wrote, Save the forest, in every language I know, said Anya, evidently proud of herself. And I might have also Google translated a few more. I looked at the defaced harvesters. It was a mess. It was a mess. I was not sure if, with the tensions tearing our group apart, we managed to put through any coherent message at all. The paint was slowly drying in the hot night air. We stopped for just a minute to admire our work, and for that moment, everything was still and quiet. The air smelled of spray paint, the harvesters looked stupid and helpless, And then the stillness was broken. Hey! What are you... What the fuck? Ah, shit, panicked Anya. The guards! That one. I took a few fast breaths and cracked my knuckles. I was ready. The guards were coming. There were 5 of them between the trees, 5 men, of course, pointing their flashlights around chaotically, getting angrier with every second. We're gonna have some fun, aren't we? I grinned. Oh, I'll have some stories to tell when I get home. One of them laughed nervously. Is that a threat? You're threatening us, girl? Olga laughed from behind my back. Oh, you have no idea how threatening we are. I'd go home if I were you, I said. You could still have a pleasant evening. A job is a job, said the one closest to me, a grim shape who pointed his flashlight right into my eyes. We're calling the police. Don't move. You're the ones who should be arrested, I growled. And maybe you will be. You know your employer is running an illegal operation, right? He paused, unsure, and in that instant the phone flew out of his hand. I don't know how Kim got behind him, but they were there, chuckling mockingly. Oh, sorry, did you want to call someone? The man turned around and punched them right in the face. They didn't even flinch, and then they grabbed the man, lifted him up, and threw him at the other guards. The clearing shattered like a broken window into sharp pieces, its edges cut clean by the rays of a flashlight swirling in the darkness. One piece, a shout, another, a silhouette leaping, a dodge, a grunt, a punch, a cry! Curses in 3 different languages! My mind was crystal clear as I jumped from one piece to another. I body slammed into one of the men and he stumbled. I threw my head back, looked at the sky, and roared the way I'm sure he'd never heard any girl roar. I'd never heard any girl roar like that. He jumped back rapidly, lost his balance, and fell to the ground with a loud thud. A flashlight shone his way. Anya screamed and grabbed my arm. I saw blood. Blood on his head, blood on the stone, next to his head, blood on the ground, dark and fresh. Excellent! A victory! I turned away from the man to look for another target. She killed him! One of the men shouted, the horror clear in his voice. He directed his flashlight at my face, blinding me. I moved toward him and grabbed the flashlight, but the guy was strong and we started to struggle. A second later, I noticed a huge silhouette behind him. It looked at me, its eyes were glowing. Leave her alone! It growled, and I recognized the voice. It was Olga. She was bulging, muscles growing bigger, bones getting longer. She let out a joyous roar, grabbed the man, and slashed him with her claws. I felt a surge of adrenaline, my nostrils flared, and I heard myself growling. Something warm landed on my face, more blood. Howls, terrified screams. Anya looked at me, panicked. What do we do? The man screamed again as another monster appeared in the circle of light. It howled and lunged at the first beast. I acted on instinct. I zeroed in on the man, pointed the gun, and launched myself at him. The monsters clawed at one another, their jaws closed on each other's throats. Blood splattered, drenching me, and before I knew it, it was all over. I saw life leave the strange gray eyes. The surviving monster lifted its black and white muzzle. It reeked of death, and its teeth were dripping blood, and jumped at me. A gunshot tore through the night. Oh, no. Wait, what? How did I lose more health? The pain was unbearable. Nothing in my life had prepared me for this. Blinded by the blood in my eyes, my shoulder and chest burning, I went berserk. I shouted. I swung my arms blindly. I cried. I howled. Oh shit. Did I just die? The forest caught my fall with a bed of moss and twigs. I stopped thrashing, and a cold numbness engulfed me. I punched the earth, trying to get some feeling in my hands. I gritted my teeth and tried to get up. I collapsed again. I felt so cold. Suddenly, there was light. I looked up. The full moon. Okay, when you lose all your health or willpower, you become impaired. This will make physical tasks, if you have 0, or social mental tasks, if you have 0, harder. Sometimes impossible. The moon was a goddess and she noticed me. Get up, she said. I get up. I feel good. I know that I shouldn't, but I don't remember why. I don't care. My muscles are sore and cramped, so I stretch like I've never stretched before. My arms are longer. My legs are stronger. My heart is pumping, and I feel like I've spent my whole life packed into a box, and I've finally been set free. I take a breath and feel my ribs and muscles move. The forest smells of blood and fear and excitement. I laugh happily, and others' laughter joins me. We laugh and sing to the moon. My mind is clearer than it's ever been before. I see the world in sharp contrast of black and white, movement and stillness. I smell prey. I hear language in the hooting of owls, and the whistling of the wind and the snarling of wolves. I am what I was born to be. There's a small, malformed creature sticking something sharp in the muscles of my thigh. The creature is no threat to me, but its presence is annoying. Its smell almost sends me reeling, and I don't like being pricked. Oh, no matter what choice I make, it's gonna decrease my rage. I push the creature away, and it flies through the air making funny noises, and then it hits a tree and stays there, pinned to the branch like a butterfly. My ears prick, and I hear more creatures running blindly through the bushes. My leg no longer stings, and I feel better than ever before. Maybe it's a dream, I think, as I move silently through the undergrowth. The creatures are running away, their backs turned to me. A growl escapes from between my teeth, and one of them turns my way. It challenges me. I roar, and the creature falls down and curls into a ball. It smells of ammonia. Piercing light burns my eyes, and I hear more creatures coming my way. They want to hurt me. With a roar, I attack them as they slowly stumble, trying to understand what's happening. There are sharp noises, there are sudden flashes, and the air smells of fire and singed hair. They hurt me. I bite, and I punch, and I roar. I flare my nostrils, and there's a new smell. Something is coming. The creatures? No, something else. I see them moving among the trees. Suddenly I'm surrounded by them. I think I know them. They seem familiar. It's like I met them in the past, but they were hidden. They close in on me. What do they want? They won't touch me, I promise myself as I lunge at them, with my teeth bared. They jump back and laugh with delight, and we start chasing each other among the trees. Run with us, they say. We howl with joy, and everything that hears us trembles with fear. Then we run through the forest and through the night. I get lost in the moment and pay no attention to the others. I am alone in the heart of the forest. I look up and see no moon, only clouds and tangled branches. Something changed, and I realized how tired I was. I stumbled. night sky was full of stars. Confused, I opened my eyes. The forest around me was thick and dark. The tree trunks, wrapped tightly in dark-leaved ivy, were covered in ripples of lichen where the vines hadn't taken hold. The thorny, leafless bushes at their base were overrun with nettles. The fungi radiated with a ghoulish, sickly green light. Dark, sponge-like mushrooms clung to the fallen trees. I took a deep breath and winced. There was a foul smell in the air. Suddenly, I realized it wasn't the forest that smelled so foul. It was me. I looked down and saw my hands covered in a dark substance. I was naked. A sticky, glistening film of liquid was clinging to my skin. I could feel it on my face, in my hair. Blood. Someone had drawn strange symbols on my skin in the drying blood. Was it me? I remembered my dream and slowly lifted my eyes. Dead bodies were strewn around. There was a severed head right in front of me. The face was contorted, the eyes bulging, the mouth open, the tongue stuck out. It was obscene. I doubled over, retching. Oh God, I recognized that face. It was Cornell, his gray, piercing eyes now dull and dead. The head watched me with reproach. No! I let out a long, blood-curdling scream. The night swallowed it. The bushes rustled, and a moment later I saw Olga. She came out from between the trees, wiping something red off her hands. She looked at me, at the head, at my face, and she came closer, squatted beside me. It's okay. She patted my shoulder. You're a werewolf. I looked at her. I blinked. So apparently this game is actually part of a wider tabletop game universe, you say, Remy? Interesting. Wow, that was short. But it has been about 23 minutes. So Chapter 4, Lost in the Woods, will be next weekend. Or maybe even tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But that was an intense chapter. Like, it was a relatively short chapter. I guess it wasn't really that short, honestly. Like, a half-hour reading? That's not too bad. That's about average for a chapter. I think that's about what it is when I read a book to my son. And I do think we are going to stick with one chapter per stream. Just because it makes it easier to maintain my title and all the tags and everything that I put in the beginning. World of Darkness by White Wolf Publishing also includes Vampire the Masquerade. Interesting. I might have to look into this. But as always, guys, if you have made it this far, don't forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe, don't forget the notification bell so you know when I go live or post a new upload. Once I have a little bit more time, once I get situated with work, I do have a few other projects that I am going to be hopefully putting together and putting out. But right now, this is what I have going on. I have it set into a schedule. Follow me on my socials. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Twitter, and I'm on Twitch. I go live a little bit more often on Twitch than I do over here. So be sure to follow me on all my platforms so that you know what's going on, anything changing, and anything like that. So stay hydrated, eat those sacrifices, don't forget to get that rest. I hope you guys enjoyed the chapter, and I look forward to seeing you guys again next time. Take it easy, everyone. I love you, my treasures. I wouldn't be here without you.